Welcome to the Mindset Mutiny. I am your host, Mike Ivanov. Join me as we challenge the status quo, break free from self-imposed limits, and redefine what's possible. What's up, everybody? Tonight, we're diving into a practice that's deceptively simple, but profoundly transformative. That's journaling. If your first thought is journaling, isn't that just writing down what happened in your day? Let me stop you right there. Journaling is so much more than just recounting your daily events. It's a tool for sharpening your life. Now, I wish somebody would have told me about the true power of journaling years ago. But I started my journey November 17th of 2019, during a period when I was overwhelmed by anxiety and depression. At first, I used journaling as a way to manage it. I'd write down the thoughts that were eating at me, document things. I'd be honest about the things I didn't want to be honest about. I'd analyze them, reflect on them, then deliver the hard truth to myself. And almost instantly after that, those thoughts would lose their grip. The act of putting them on paper stripped them of their power. It took the chaos in my head and turned it into something I could face head on. It was a wild experience to see. What I wrote changed how I thought. I would never have believed it unless I'd witnessed it. But I didn't stop there. Once I saw what writing things down could do, I took it to the next level. I began using my journal to set challenges for myself, to confront and reshape my mindset, and to document everything about myself that I wanted to change. And let me tell you, those pages didn't hold back. They became a place for brutal honesty. I wrote about my flaws, my struggles, my deepest fears, and the things I once thought were impossible to overcome. Day in and day out, I worked through those challenges, slowly but surely transforming what I saw on the page. My journals are worth more to me than anything I'll ever own. They're not just pages bound together. They're the map, the chart, the course. They hold the summation of a tortured soul, clawing its way back out of the darkness to become something entirely new. They document a mindset torn apart and rebuilt, piece by piece, into something stronger, something sharper, and something unbreakable. Every page represents a moment in time, moments of despair, determination, and triumph. They're the raw, unfiltered truth of who I was and who I've become. These journals are my compass. They guide me back when I lose my way. They are a testament to the power of deliberate growth. They are proof that even the most shattered soul can find its way to light, not by accident, but through relentless effort and honesty. For me, my journals are sacred. They're not just books filled with words. They're a record of my journey, my growth, my transformation. They hold my unfiltered thoughts, my rawest emotions, and the lessons I've learned along the way. They're the most honest conversations I've ever had with myself. Journaling isn't always about reflection. It's about creation. It's about how we communicate with our future selves. It's how we document the road we've already traveled. It's a place to find clarity when the words feel overwhelming, to gain perspective when emotions cloud judgment, and to take control of your progress by holding yourself accountable. When I look back through those pages, I see my evolution. Every moment of doubt, every triumph, and every impossible thing I made possible. My journals remind me not only of how far I've come, but of the work it took to get here. They taught me that the power of transformation starts with radical honesty and the willingness to put the pen to the fucking paper. So if you've ever doubted the value of journaling, I urge you to give it a chance. Start small, be honest, and let the process unfold. Who knows? A few words today might become the foundation of your transformation tomorrow. So think about it like this. Every time you write in a journal, you're leaving a message for your future self. What do you want to say to them? What warnings, wisdom, or challenges do you want to leave behind? That's a powerful responsibility, isn't it? You're capturing your current thoughts, struggles, and victories. Something your future self can look back on to measure the growth and resilience. This isn't about documenting your day. It's about creating a map of where you've been, what's worked, and what hasn't. It's about deciding what to amplify and what to eliminate. Your journal can call out all of the broken promises, remind you of goals that slip through your fingers, and reignite desires you let fade into excuses. This is where the sparks are born. Sparks that can grow into a fire. And with relentless effort, that fire becomes an unstoppable blaze of successes. Journaling isn't passive. It's where you chart the path to rise from mediocrity to greatness. Journaling gives you something that most people are too afraid to confront: perspective. It forces you to look at the patterns in your thoughts and actions, the habits that serve you and the ones that sabotage you. This is your guidebook to success, a blueprint to become better than you were yesterday. Journaling is one of the most brutally honest forms of self-communication. We lie to others, we lie to ourselves, but in a journal, there's no room for masks or excuses. The words you write are for the one person who needs the unfiltered truth the most. That's you. It's where you uncover hidden fears, unmet goals, and desires buried under the weight of your complacency. It's a mirror for your soul, reflecting your raw, unpolished reality. So if you're serious about transformation, real unapologetic change, this is where it begins. Pick up the pen and stop running from yourself. Write your truth. Light the spark. Build the blaze. And don't fucking look back. So I've compiled 5 things that I think journaling will give you if you give it a chance. Number 1, you will gain clarity and perspective. Life often feels chaotic. There's a million thoughts vying for our attention. Journaling is a mental decluttering tool. When you write, you're forced to slow down and process your thoughts one by one, turning those abstract worries into tangible words. This will allow you to see situations more clearly, uncover hidden emotions, and understand what truly matters. A problem that feels massive in your head often looks smaller and more manageable when you see it on paper. Journaling helps you recognize patterns. It exposes recurring challenges or thoughts so you can address them more effectively. Number 2, you will track growth and progress. Journaling gives you a record of your journey, making it a powerful tool to reflect on. Over time, you can look back at old entries and see how much you've grown, how your mindset has shifted, what obstacles you've overcome, and what you've achieved. This creates a sense of pride and reinforces the value of persistence. For instance, if you're working on a fitness goal, recording your struggles and victories helps. It can show you how you powered through tough times and succeeded. Growth is not always easy to notice day to day. Most of the time, it's impossible to see day to day. But journaling makes it undeniable over the long term. Number 3, helps manage stress and emotions. Writing is an emotional outlet. Journaling gives you a safe, judgment-free space to vent frustrations, articulate your worries, or even process grief. The act of writing can be cathartic. It further reduces the mental and emotional load you're carrying. When you write about stressors, you're better able to understand them, making it easier to identify solutions or let go of what you can't control. Journaling can also help you uncover deeper emotions, like fear and insecurity. That might be hiding behind surface level frustrations, allowing you to deal with the root cause instead of just the symptoms. Number 4, it will hold you accountable. When you write down your goals, plans, or reflections, you create a record of your intentions. This serves as a mirror, forcing you to confront whether you're staying true to your commitments or falling short. Journaling helps you identify what's working and what isn't, empowering you to make adjustments. For example, if you write about wanting to improve your productivity, reviewing your journal can show whether your habits align with that goal or not. Accountability through journaling is self-directed, which makes it more powerful because it's your way of holding yourself to a higher standard, not external pressure. Number 5, forces you to explore and challenge your mindset. One of the most important. Your thoughts shape your reality. But many of us don't even realize the stories we're telling ourselves. Journaling, if you're honest, brings these narratives to light. When you write, you might notice the self-limiting beliefs or the negative self-talk that you hadn't consciously acknowledged before. Once these thoughts are on paper, you can start to question them. Is this true? Why do I believe this? What's a better way to think about this? By actively challenging your mindset, journaling helps you rewrite the mental scripts that hold you back. Over time, this practice builds a stronger, more resilient, and growth-oriented perspective. So if you're new to journaling, you might feel a little awkward at first. It's totally normal. But the key is to start simple. And here's how. First, you got to pick your medium. Maybe it's a slick notebook you've been saving, or maybe it's the Notes app on your phone. There's no right or wrong. Just pick what feels natural. Some people even use voice memos or digital journaling platforms. But if you ask me, nothing beats handwriting. There's something powerful about putting the pen to paper, physically writing it out. It forces you to slow down and truly process your thoughts. Writing by hand takes longer than typing. Your mind engages differently when you see your own handwriting on the page. It feels more personal, more connected. It's yours. When you look back at those words written in your own hand, they carry weight. They aren't just lines of text on a screen. They're a tangible reflection of your thoughts and your emotions. There's no escaping the reality of what you've written when it's staring back at you in the ink. If you really want to connect with yourself and your journey, try writing it down. Create a routine. Set aside just 5 minutes a day. Maybe it's in the morning with your coffee or at night before bed. Consistency matters more than the length of time you spend. Treat it like brushing your teeth, a non-negotiable part of your day. It's that simple. Using prompts, this was very helpful for me when I started. If you don't know what to write, start with these prompts. What's one thing I learned today? What's one thing I did well today? What's one thing I can improve on tomorrow? Over time, your entries will flow naturally and you'll find your own rhythm. And most importantly, don't overthink it. Journaling isn't about crafting the perfect sentences. It's about honesty. It's about leading yourself. Write as if you're having a conversation with yourself. Let it be messy, raw, unfiltered. That's where the magic happens. Now, let's talk about excuses. I can already hear some of you. I don't have time to journal. Wah. Guess what? You do. If you have 5 minutes to scroll social media, you have 5 minutes to journal. That excuse doesn't fucking hold water with me. Or maybe you're thinking I'm not a good writer. Journaling isn't about being a great writer. It's about being brutally honest with yourself. No one else is going to read it. This is your private, unfiltered conversation with yourself. So let go of the idea that it has to sound good. I'll read you some of mine. They don't sound good. But those excuses aren't the real reason you're avoiding journaling. Are they? I think the truth is you're afraid. I was. You're afraid of what might come out on that page. Afraid of what you'll have to face. Afraid of confronting the parts of yourself that need to change. It's fear, plain and simple. And let's not forget ego. Some of you avoid journaling because deep down, you don't believe you need to improve. Or maybe you lack the discipline to stick with it long enough to see the results. Either way, the excuses you're making are the exact barriers holding you back. Here's something that I always like to think about. It's no coincidence that highly successful people journal. They understand the power of self-reflection, the necessity of holding themselves accountable, and the value of tracking their growth. So when you avoid journaling, you're actively choosing to stay stuck. I know why you avoid it. I've been there. It's easier to hide from the truth, to let your ego tell you that you're fine as you are, or to convince yourself that change is too hard. But that's just the fear talking. That's complacency. That's being weak. So stop it. You have a choice. Keep running, keep making excuses, or pick up the pen and face the fucking truth. Write what's on your mind. Start with whatever pops into your head as soon as you open that journal. Doesn't matter how small or messy it feels. What matters is that you start. Because if you don't, you're letting fear win. And fear does not deserve to run your life. For me, journaling hasn't just been a tool. It's been a weapon. It's how I've broken the cycle of unproductive patterns. I force myself to recognize the victories, big or small. That's what fuels the fight forward. It's where I unload the weight that would otherwise crush me. There's power in taking the chaos in your head and putting it on paper. Suddenly, the impossible becomes manageable, and the noise becomes a clear signal. But the real game changer, journaling, is how I talk to my future self. It's how I leave behind proof that I can overcome anything. It's a time machine, plain and simple, showing me exactly where I've been and reminding me that I have the strength to keep moving forward. When I read those old entries, I see the storms I weathered and the battles I won. It's a reminder. If I could survive that, I can dominate what's in front of me now. And let's get something straight. Journaling keeps me brutally accountable. It shuts down that weak, pathetic voice in my head, the one that tries to convince me to quit, take a shortcut, or stay comfortable. When I write, there's nowhere to hide. There's no bullshitting myself. The results are staring back at me in black and white. Did I move the needle today, or did I slack off? My journal doesn't lie, and it certainly doesn't let me off the hook. The truth about journaling is it's not about doing what feels good. It's about doing what needs to be done. That's the difference between mediocrity and greatness. Writing when you're tired, when you're angry, when you're broken, that's discipline. That's self-leadership. That's how you grow. But journaling isn't just about keeping yourself in check. It's about setting the course of your life. Your brain will follow the map if you have the courage to draw it. My journal is that map. Back when I could barely run 2 miles, I wrote, I want to run a half marathon. It was a distant dream. And guess what? Many months later, I could show you the entry in which I did exactly that. Months later, you can see another entry talking about wanting to complete one in sub 2 hours. What do you think happened? Let me just open up these journals here, and I'm going to read a couple entries for you. And at the end, I'll read you a couple more. This is right from the pages of my journal. April 28th, 2024. 1 month of running 4 miles a week. Keep pushing. June 10th, 2024. Had a great run in Portland. It was dark and rainy, so of course we go run. 6 miles. Done. July 4th, 2024. Longest run of my life. Proud as fuck. 10 miles in the books. The body will follow the mind. I wanted 10, went and took it. Can see how it's not perfectly written. It's not crafted perfectly, but it's raw. July 27th, 2024. PR'd that bitch. 4 exclamation marks. 13.1 miles in the books. You wanted 13.1, so you went and took it. One intentional step at a time. Do you remember when this was a fucking fantasy? Do you? Now it's a fucking reality. Why? Because I took action constantly when I didn't want to. First half marathon in my life. Longest I've run in 37 years of being alive. 2 hours, 21 minutes. Now you can rest for the day. Those are just entries that I put in there that pop into my head. But as you can see, there's progression, right? October 26th, 2024. Great job pushing through your comfort zone and doing an officially sanctioned half marathon. You know you're nervous as shit for race day. Go get this win, Mike. Build more conviction. 1 mile at a time. Settle in and just click them off. 9:30 pace target. Then I listed the times to beat. July 27th, 2 hours, 29 minutes. September 1st, 2 hours, 23 minutes. Be ready to go to war. When the pain comes, just smile. It's always temporary. Remember that all things pass. Now go collect your PR. I remember writing this to myself to try to psych myself up because I was not in a great place. I was not in a very confident mindset. So I used this to push myself forward, to provide myself some energy. October 27th, 2024. PR on my first official half marathon. 13.1 miles, brother. Was locked the fuck in. 1 hour, 59 minutes. What an amazing day. Anything is possible. Prove yourself right. Those are handwritten entries from my journal. See how powerful it can be? See how I'm tracking the progress, forcing myself to be accountable, issuing myself challenges? That's what it's all about, people. Let's fucking go. That's the power of leading yourself. The journal isn't just a book, it's the battlefield where you wage war on your limitations. It's where you lay down the steps to destroy your excuses. It's where you claim the life you want. It's where you can be raw, honest, vulnerable. But it's also where you prove yourself right. If you don't have a journal, you're not just missing out. You're selling yourself short. Remember, journaling isn't always pretty. You saw my entries. You heard them. They're not pretty. There are days I don't feel like doing it. Days when my thoughts are a mess and I'd rather do anything else. But I've learned this. The days you resist it the most are the days you need it the most. Those moments of resistance, that's where the breakthroughs happen. That's where the fire gets lit. So stop making the fucking excuses. Pick up a pen and start writing. Your future self is waiting for the message you'll leave. Stop selling yourself short and start stepping into the life you're meant to lead. So my challenge to you today, start journaling. Don't overthink it. Don't make excuses. Just start. If you're new to this, write down 3 things you're grateful for, 1 thing you're proud of, and 1 thing you're going to crush tomorrow. Or if you're an absolute madman, my personal favorite, write down everything you hate about yourself. That's what I did. Everything, every excuse, every weakness, every broken promise. Put it all on the page and stare it in the face. Then commit to fixing it. 1 step at a time. Track your progress and above all, be brutally honest. No sugarcoating, no soft landings. Do this for 1 week. Then no matter how it feels, because feelings don't mean fucking shit, do it for another week, then a month. And here's the rule. Don't fucking stop. And warning, if you don't do this, you're willingly passing up one of the most effective tools you'll ever have to transform your life. This is what it takes to build the success you say you want. It's that simple. And if you're already journaling, take it further. Review what you've written, what patterns are emerging, what lessons are screaming at you to be learned. Remember, this isn't about documenting your life, it's about designing it. The choice is yours. Keep making excuses, keep hiding, or pick up the damn pen and take control. Journaling isn't just the writing. It's declaring war on the parts of you that are holding you back. Stop waiting, start writing, and show the world what happens when you own your life. So, I will leave you with this. 2 entries from my personal journal. Now, bear with me. I'm going to read them exactly as they're written in their raw form. So they're not perfect. October 12th of 2024. This is what I wrote. Little steps. That's how you tackle a massive goal. 5-foot world. Beyond that isn't a concern. Looking beyond that doesn't need worry. Little steps add up quicker than 1 big step you're never going to take. This is a fact. If you can just execute little wins 10,000 times, you'll achieve whatever you want. And I'll share another. Just bear with me here. When you're headed out on a long journey, you need a plan. You chart out a course with the X's on the map. When things go haywire, you go back to the X. You can also monitor your progress to see how far you've come. Create and map out the plan or plan to fail. You want to get from A to F, but you haven't plotted getting to B. So when you fail to get to B because you have no measurable plan, you abandon the entire journey. If you had a measurable plan to get to B, then to C, etc., you can evaluate what parts of the plan you executed on and what you didn't. If you stick to the plan, you can achieve what most can't execute consistently enough. Most can't continue forward when it gets hard. Most want an easy plan. No journey that's easy is worth it. Create the plan, chart the course, know the landmarks or the X's. Execute, execute, execute. You have to study the terrain, know the river crossings, talk to the other climbers, become a student of the game, keep your head up for the hazards ahead. When you get lost, go back to the map. What would happen if you didn't have a map? You're lost, no view of progress, no way forward. Best thing you can do for yourself is execute the plan every day relentlessly. Consistency wins over time. Add a habit and lock it in. That's it. No more excuses. Go get the fucking job done.